If you want to set up passwordless authentication to your SSH server, then you need SSH Private and Public Key Authentication, which I'll show you how to set up in this video. Right, so first thing is we need to make sure that we actually have SSH accessible and available to us. Regardless of your operating system, if you type in SSH to your terminal, this will obviously show you if it works or not. If it displays a help menu, this means that we have successfully have SSH installed and we can proceed with the tutorial. Now, if you are stuck or if you don't know how to use SSH, I just recently have posted a full tutorial that covers all topics of SSH, which will be in the description down below. So make sure to watch that first and you can always come back to this video later. Right, so first thing is you need to log into your SSH server, right? You can do this by typing root or your username and the IP address. And obviously confirm it by typing your password or pasting your password. I do recommend using a password manager. Now from here, what you need to do is you can actually set up your SSH key for your root user. Do I recommend it? Not really, because if someone manages to get access to your VPS or your host, then they have full unrestricted access because the root user is the administrator user. In this case, I am going to set the private key for my root user. If you're interested in creating a user, make sure to check my previous tutorial where I have explained everything step by step, how to create a user and give your user permissions. If you go to your home directory, so in this case, I'm going to go cd/root. And now what we just need to do is go to cd SSH, right? ls. And as you can see, there is authorized keys, right? This file is actually important as here is where we're going to paste our public key. Now to generate our pairs, what we need to do is we need to disconnect or just open up another terminal, right? Just make sure that you're not doing this on your VPS or your basically SSH server. Now to generate your SSH key, you need to type in the following command: SSH-keygen and -f. -f, you just specify your file name. In this case, I'm just going to call it server. Now, what we can also add is we can add the basically algorithm and basically the sort of size of the algorithm, right? Or how secure do we want it to be? In this case, if you use RSA-B 4096, this is pretty secure and I don't think you really need to go more than that. However, in the description down below, I will leave a website where you can literally check the algorithm and choose whichever one suits you the most. In this case, we're using the RSA, right? And it actually tells you SSH keygen TRSA with this basically flag, right? 4096, which is just basically the algorithm size or the key size, right? So if I actually press enter, right? And as you can see, if we add a passphrase, let's add a passphrase of admin. Passphrase is basically just the password for our private key. What does this mean? If someone manages to get our private key, they will not be able to use it unless they know the basically passphrase or the password for the private key, right? So now looking in my directory, I have two files, right? So if I actually open the home directory, as you can see, there is a server and there's a server.pub. The server.pub is a public key. You can actually distribute this or show this file to anyone. However, the server, right, so this is the private key. The private key looks something like this, right? Make sure that you don't show this file to anyone. Now, yes, I am showing you this file so you understand, and it doesn't really matter because this is a tutorial. So obviously keep this server or the private key secret. Now, what we just need to do is we basically just need to open the server.pub, right? So if you type in cat server.pub, and if you copy this whole little gibberish, right? So if I copy this string, go back to your SSH server, type in the following command, sudo nano authorized keys, right? And paste the public key, right? Make sure you press Ctrl X, Y, enter. And now if I basically disconnect, or actually let's use this terminal. Now if I type in SSH root at my IP address, right? And I type in -I, and basically I use the private key, which is just for me, it's server, right? As you can see, it says passphrase, right? Remember my passphrase, it was admin. And as you can see, I am basically logged in without a password, right? Wham, bam, bam, very, very simple. Now, if you're constantly tired of basically remembering all of this information, we can actually set up an alias. So when you type the alias, it will automatically connect you to your SSH server, right? So if you go to basically .ssh, right, to your home directory, and then if you edit the configuration file of your SSH folder, right, like I have right here. So basically, if I type, for example, host server, host name, and my IP address, right, something like this, then we do user, which is going to be root, port number, which is going to be 22, which is the default one. If it's different for you, then you should change it. And then if you write identity file, and you write the location, so in this case for me, it will be in actually home Griffin, and it will be the server file, right? Basically, if I save this file and I write SSH server, right? As you can see, this will automatically connect me to the SSH server. So if I put admin, as you can see, it automatically has connected me to this server, right? So if I write ifconfig, as you can see, this actually does identify the server. So 138, which is the server. We can actually also use a client. So basically this will be a GUI program that allows us to manage everything. So if you type PuTTY client, take the first URL, make sure it says putty.org, download PuTTY, and basically we just need to take the 64-bit installer for Windows, right? So in this case, this one will work for me. And if I basically just put this on my desktop and I install this program, right? So you should basically do the same, right? So basically, if you just run the installer of PuTTY, right? So run, next, it doesn't really matter. It's as simple as this, yes. And as you can see, it's finished. Now, if you basically run the PuTTY program, right? So if you type in PuTTY, right? I'll close this. And basically from here, we can manage our session. Right, so if you fill all of your information out, so my IP address, port 22, SSH. Now what you can do is you can actually save this. I would actually recommend it if you're planning to use this long term or if you want to manage a lot of sessions. So I'm just going to call it 1, right? Let's call it main 1, right? Save it, and as you can see, now we can load it. By loading it, you're basically changing it to the current highlighted setting, okay? Now if you press open, it will ask you for your basically login as, so here you just need to put your username. You can actually specify it in the PuTTY. There is a setting that will just allow you to change your username. Let's put root and our password. Right, so if you put your password, you can actually copy from the clipboard and right click to paste it. As you can see, I am logged in and basically I can interact with my VPS. Now, yes, this is a private key video, so we're going to set up a private key on Windows right now. Basically, right. So on Windows, after you have installed PuTTY, there is a PuTTY generator. So if you type PuTTY gen, right, as you can see, it says right here. Now what we can do is with a GUI, we can actually generate public and private keys rather than using a command line. Right, so through the bottom, we get different options. Now, I'm going to recommend you two options. RSA, right, or EDDSA, right? It's completely up to you. Technically, ED with the ED25519, that's a mouthful. Basically, it is more secure. However, it might not be compatible with everything. Or choose the RSA, but put 4096, right, to make it more secure. In this case, I'm going to use the RSA key, right? And basically, if you press generate, right? Now, all you need to do here, as you can see, when I move my mouse, the bar is filling up, right? So basically, if you just move it in random places, make sure that obviously you do it within the window. As you can see, the key is being generated. And we basically get the same thing as we get on Linux. Once the key is generated, this is what you need to do. Go all the way down. As you can see basically on the screen, right? Technically, this is the whole key. But if I scroll down, as you can see, there's more of it. Go all the way from the bottom and copy the whole key. It is crucial that you copy the whole key or it's not going to work. Copy, go to your SSH server and go to your user. Then from your user, right? So in my case, I'm doing it for root and go to SSH. Now write sudo nano authorized keys, right? And basically, if you paste your public key right here, make sure that obviously it says SSH RSA or some other algorithm at the start, right? It should at least, right? If it doesn't, then just copy whoever has given you, right? Now, if I save this, and basically, if I disconnect, right? Now, technically, what you just need to do is you need to save your private key, right? So save your private key. Yep, just save yes. I am going to overwrite my private key, right? And overwrite it. Now, just in case you mess something up, right? Let's say I close this PuTTY generator and I cannot recover it. You actually can. If you write PuTTY gen again, right? So if I write PuTTY gen again, and there is a load option. If I load my SSH key, as you can see, it is basically back to where it was, and you can basically copy whatever you want, right? You can obviously change stuff. But I would actually, if you want to change something, I would just recommend just generating a new key. It is also a bit better to generate the new key since it's a new fresh key. Okay, now, how to use your SSH key. Now, if you open PuTTY, right, this will allow us to use our SSH key. I would actually recommend changing a profile and loading it. Now, if you go to SSH, go to authentication, go to credentials. As you can see, there is a private key, right? I actually have it because I've been testing this. If you browse, open the private key, go back to session, highlight this again and save it, right? Make sure that you save it. It is important because this the way PuTTY is basically coded is a little bit broken. So you need to actually load it or make a new profile and save it, right? Because basically the private key, it's only loaded under a session. As soon as I close this program, it's not going to work, right? It'll basically disappear. Go to session and basically open. Now, as you can see, basically, if I actually don't put anything, as you can see, it's refusing. Comparing this to Linux is actually a bit easier. For some reason, Windows is not as simple. So let's try this again, right? So now if I open up PuTTY, I load this up, open, and I write my user, right? So I write root. As you can see, it says authenticating, public key, RSA, blah, 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 right? And as you can see, I am basically authenticated to my VPS, right? I hope I have explained this well. It is not really difficult. You just need to follow what I just have showed you. Now, there is actually one important configuration, which is basically disabling a password authentication, which just is going to leave us with the private key. Now, this is important, so listen to this carefully. If you disable password logging into your SSH or basically password authentication to your SSH server, it is crucial that you back up your private key or think of some kind of recovery process, because once you disable this and you don't have your private key or you lose it, there is no way to get access to your SSH server. So you can leave SSH password logging in if you want to. I would actually recommend it if you want to. Just keep it strong. Remember, you need to keep a strong password. But if you want to disable it completely, then you need to do this. Go to etc SSH. Now, as you can see, there is a file, SSHD config. If you write sudo nano or just edit the file and you go down, 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 and what you're looking for is you're looking for password authentication right here. What you need to do is you need to remove the hashtag, and after password authentication, just change it to no, right? So for you, it'll be yes, just change it to no. And also remember to remove the hashtag, because the hashtag basically ignores the configuration, right? So remove the hashtag completely. Just basically follow what I have. Then press Ctrl X, Y, and enter, right, to save it if you're using nano. Now, if you write ls again, from here we have another folder, sshd_config.d. If you basically write sudo nano sshd_config.d, and inside that there will be another. Now, inside this folder there might be 2 or 1 file, right? This is actually the first time I'm having 2 files, but you just need to edit both of these, right? If you edit the file, as you can see, it says password authentication. Just change to no, right? And if it says exactly the same in the other file, right? So if I remove this and I edit the other file, as you can see here, it says password authentication to no, which means we don't really need to change anything, right? Now, if you actually disconnect and you try to log in again, right? If I do SSH root at this IP address, you're going to notice that I'm still allowed to put a password. Now you may ask why. Because what we need to do is we need to reset the SSH server, or basically reboot your VPS. That is completely up to you. Right, so if you connect back to your SSH server, it doesn't really matter how, we just need access to the SSH server. Now from here, if you type in the following command, sudo systemctl restart ssh.service. Right, now from this, once you type this command, the SSH server has been restarted, and once you disconnect, there is no more password authentication. So before you disconnect, make sure that everything is set correctly and that you obviously still have access to your SSH server. Now also, don't scrap your password. Do not remove the password that you had for root. Still keep it in your password manager, because whenever you want to do something and it might require a password, especially between switching users, for example, from a normal user to root user, you still need your password, right? For your user and for your root. You don't want to get rid of it, right? So now if I exit, and if I try to SSH to the VPS back again, right, you're going to notice that's not going to allow me, right? As you can see, permission denied, right? I am not allowed to log back in as root through the password. I need to have a private key, otherwise it's not going to allow me back in, right? So if I do SSH server, as you can see, I am back in through the private key authentication. Now, there is a way that you can set up private key authentication or password authentication for specific users, which I also have showed you in my previous video, so make sure to check that out if you want to do that. Right, and that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys have learned how to set up SSH Private Key Authentication. There will be all information on my Gitbook in the description down below. Also, don't forget to check my courses, which I will take you through everything, basically how to do everything on Linux, and I've got much more courses waiting for you. Thank you for watching, and peace.